And that's a great segue into our first segment of another person from Chicago that I'm not too fond of right now. And that is Hub Arkush.
He doesn't deserve to have his name said right.
Yeah. You don't deserve to have your name said anyways. So yeah, that's gonna be our first topic of the day. Aaron Rodgers. He is some would say the MVP frontrunner, guys. Not to Hub Arkush, who is a writer for somewhere in Chicago. He's a Chicago native, and he is part of the Associated Press. He has one of the 50 MVP votes. He came out on a podcast last week and said he was not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers because he's, quote, the biggest jerk in the room. And it was premeditated beforehand. He said that nothing that Rodgers could have done in the season would have changed his mind. He wasn't getting the vote anyways. So, Jake, I'll start with you. Just what are your thoughts on this whole thing? I'll let you sound off.
Yeah, first of all, it's stupid. How the hell, as knowing that power that you have as a voter, I feel like it's so unprofessional to just come out and say stuff like this. Like keep that, even if you think that, keep that to yourself. Cause I think there are people in the NFL that are assholes. Yeah. And like, yeah, maybe I will say who it is, but guess what? I'm not a fucking voter. So like, it doesn't matter for me. Yeah. So his opinion doesn't matter. I think he came out and kind of backtracked to what he said and said, "Oh, I apologize for my childish." I think that's exactly what he said. His childish, words. But yeah, listen, it's so stupid that he would just go. I feel like this just screams that he was looking for attention because nobody knew who in the hell this guy name was. Mm-hmm. Even if people did, not a lot of people. But yeah, Hub, go crawl back into a hole where people didn't know who you were, because I honestly think his MVP vote should be revoked. I think it should be, because to earn that type of status, you need to be like a very well credited member of the Associated Press. I just feel like when I think of somebody that deserves an MVP vote, it doesn't reflect somebody that would say something like this. So but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I do agree to an extent. I don't know that necessarily his privileges should be taken away, because I do feel like as a member of the press, you are, we have freedom of speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want to a certain extent. But I do feel like if you are a voter, you shouldn't necessarily be allowed to talk about your vote. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like those things should come out. When
he said that in the interview too. He said, we're not allowed to talk about who we voted for.
So he went with who I'm not voting for, and then he really emphasized not voting for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Which you shouldn't be allowed to do either. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about your vote, how you use it, whatever the case may be. I completely disagree with that, and I completely disagree with his thoughts on Aaron Rodgers as a whole. Like, yes, the offseason was a little odd. We talked about it multiple times during that time when Aaron Rodgers was in Hawaii or whatever. We didn't know what he was going to do, whether he was going to return to the team or whatever the case may be. But like I said in the video I made on TikTok about this, I can guarantee you can ask any of the guys on the Packers right now, and as they sit in the 1 seed, I don't think any of them feel like he did anything to harm them or hurt them based on what he's done this season. I mean, he went in there and he's played well enough to potentially win the MVP award. So you can't really knock the guy.
I want to know who he voted for last year. I want to know if he voted Rodgers or not. And let's see if this is really some Chicago bias here. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. Okay. So I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the most valuable guy at the same time. Is exactly what he said. Wasn't Big Ben voted Super Bowl MVP at one point? Yeah. That's interesting, because I'm pretty sure the Associated Press votes on that too. So very interesting there. That's just me though. I'll just back.
I wish. Okay. I have different opinions about this, because Rodgers came out and said that, obviously he's a bum, which he is, but he also came out and said that he wasn't voting for him because of his vaccination status. I will say Hub never mentioned his vaccination status in the entire interview. So I don't know if that was a reason or not for him not voting for him, but he didn't mention anything of that sort. So I'm not going to take that, what Rodgers said, for verbatim. I think, and this might be a hot take. It might just be me. I think in a very close MVP race like this, where there's nobody really running away with it, not like Aaron Rodgers did last year with his 48 touchdowns, 5 picks, right? I think it's very close between him and Brady right now. If the numbers are close enough, right, coming down to the last week of the season, I think off the field measures, I feel like you should be able to hold that against a player. Now, very specifically, if you want to say the reason you're voting for Tom Brady because the numbers are close is because Aaron Rodgers held his team hostage in the offseason, I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. And I know you're not really supposed to have these premeditated ideals, but when the numbers are that close and you're trying to look for a reason to put one over the other, I think you could look at that and say, Tom Brady is a better leader on and off the field. That's why I'm giving him the vote over Rodgers, But I think him saying that it was premeditated, saying that there was no way Rodgers was going to get a vote, that I think he should be stripped specifically for that. And it blows my mind how he thought that he was allowed to speak about who he didn't vote for and say, oh yeah, the way that us AP voters are allowed to continue voting is we're not allowed to talk about who we voted for. So that means if you're not allowed to talk about who you voted for, you're not allowed to talk about who you didn't vote for. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Hub, shame on you. I don't know why he would do that. Don't know why you do that. It's just stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to be pissed if Tom Brady wins MVP, because when I think about MVP this year, like, think about in your head the best players in the NFL. Like, don't even think about just the first names that come to your mind this year. Like, for me, right away, the names that came to my mind were Aaron Rodgers, Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor. Those are the three right away. Tom Brady's having a great year, but is he having an eye-popping year? No. Aaron Rodgers is separating himself. I think Aaron Rodgers has been the best quarterback. So if it's going to be a quarterback, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. And then other best players in the NFL this year, Cooper Kupp has been unstoppable. And then Jonathan Taylor has been unstoppable. Those are the 3 guys that have been unstoppable, in my opinion, this year. And I think those 3 should. If it's not one of those guys, I don't think they deserve MVP. That's fair.
That's totally fair. And realistically, there's no shot in hell Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp are going to win.
Nah.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
If Cooper Kupp breaks 2,000 yards, I think
I don't even think Cooper Kupp's going to come in the top 3. I think it's going to be Brady, Taylor, and Rodgers.
That's stupid.
I don't know. I think I would still, if I had to choose a non-quarterback, it would be Cooper Kupp over Jonathan Taylor. But the biggest thing that pains me that neither of them getting MVP is that means that one of them is not going to get an award for this season.
Yeah.
Because whoever doesn't get, or like one of them is going to get Offensive Player of the Year instead. So one of them is just going to be left hanging out to dry. I mean, they'll get all pros and all that stuff, but
And I think that guy that's going to get screwed over is Jonathan Taylor.
It is.
I think Cooper
100%.
Kupp has had too crazy of a season not to win
a lock. A lock. By the way, I really like how they started going away from the, MVP also wins Offensive Player of the Year kind of thing that they used to do. I think Matt Ryan was the last person that happened to, or it might have been Cam Newton. But yeah, it was a while ago. They would just always give the Offensive Player of the Year to the MVP, which made no sense. Like, I get yes, but like, give it to Offensive Player of the Year should be viewed as really a non-quarterback award. Like, give it to another guy, because we all know MVP at this point is a quarterback's award.
I think the thing that would piss me off the most is if they give MVP to either Rodgers or Brady, and then Offensive Player of the Year to either
to the other.
But that wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't even make sense.
No, but I'm getting like
Offensive Player of the Year.
That
should be specifically a skill position award. And it shouldn't be. If MVP is going to be quarterback after quarter, if you've established it's going to be a quarterback award for pretty much the entire history of the NFL, it's a quarterback award. So make Offensive Player of the Year a skill position award. That's easy enough.
Poor lineman.
Poor lineman getting no love. No love.